Good morning, the villager here 254, Patrick. Now, I want to take you through the 1.2 trillion loan that President Ruto borrowed, and the Auditor General says he never borrowed it with the advice of the Attorney General. He just unconstitutionally fired together with the cabinet, because the tenure of an Attorney General is different from that of a cabinet secretary. However, I want to show you, to take you through the journey of how he borrowed all this money. Immediately President Ruto came into power in September 2022, he borrowed 50.42 billion from both domestic and external markets. That is September. Now, in October of the same year, from the same source of domestic and external market, President William Ruto borrowed 21.85 billion the following month. You remember the way they were crying around that there was no money in the treasury? They were borrowing heavily. Now that is October. In November of the same year, the following month, President Ruto borrowed 62.21 billion from both domestic and external. That is November. What did he do in December? Because he was living and surviving on borrowed money. I wonder whether they were not collecting taxes. In December of the same year, President William Ruto borrowed 55.1 billion from IMF. Now let's jump to the next year, which is 2023. In 2023, we begin from April of 2023. He borrowed twice in April. 68 billion from syndicated loan borrowed from commercial banks in April, in 1 week. You remember the noise we were making? In 1 week, he borrowed 68 billion from a syndicated loan. Then the same month, he approached the IMF, no, not really, World Bank, and in the same April, he borrowed 52 billion Kenya shillings. Wait and see miracles. Now, moving on, in the next month, President William Ruto borrowed from Afrexim Bank in May 408 billion Kenya shillings. Stakes are rising. Wow. That is in May 2023. That was not enough. He moved to IMF in the same month and he borrowed 162 billion. He started borrowing en masse. Remember, the first year he was borrowing small, but come to 2023, he started borrowing massively. That is by May. In total, he borrowed in May 570 billion Kenya shillings. Now, let's jump to June 2023. In June 2023, the president borrowed 220 billion from domestic markets. This is your money. All this is inclusive of your money, and this was borrowed from the banks where we put our money for safety. In other words, the banks are supposed to share this loot with us. This looting, because they charge high interest, they're supposed to share with us. Now, this is up to September. From September 2022 all the way to the end of the 2022-2023 financial year. I think so, because it has not extended beyond there. In 1 year of power, President William Ruto borrowed 1.2 trillion. And yet Kibaki, in 10 years, he borrowed almost the same amount of money. And I think even William Ruto borrowed the same amount of money. I'll find the facts. But I just want to say, this guy went on rampage, borrowing everywhere. And this money, the Attorney General did not advise, and the Auditor General cannot trace what this money did. And yet the law says, when you borrow from outside, it must be for development only. I don't know the law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a concerned Kenyan. We must put the president to accountability. He must account for this. Thank you. See you in the streets today. We are going for demonstrations. Ruto must go. Thank you.